Hello, everybody. Welcome to this month's masterclass where we have the very wonderful Balambika with us. Balambika, welcome to this masterclass. And Balambika is
Tha-
going to talk to us about read alouds and the beauty of books and storytelling. Balambika, a huge welcome.
Thank you so much, Amrita. I'm like delighted to be here because it's a group which is very close to my heart, and
Right.
reading, which is another topic which is very close to my
Absolutely.
heart. And
Yes.
I'm so happy to be here.
Great. Same here. So before we begin, I want to quickly introduce you to our beautiful moms. So Balambika, she was a market researcher by profession, and now she's quit her corporate job to do what she really loves doing. And as she said, she's super passionate about everything related to books, to reading, and I feel it stems up from the inspiration that her daughter brings in her through read aloud sessions that they do back home. So, Balambika, do you want to talk a little bit about how this whole process or journey started for you back home with, your little one?
Sure. Like you rightly said, the journey started with me having a daughter in my life.
Right,
So it wasn't a planned journey,
right,
in the
right.
sense that I never thought I would love children's literature so much. So when I had Tisya, we all want to give the best to our children.
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
we just started reading. And as we started, probably the response the child gave me and the whole bonding that we
Right.
discovered, it
Wow.
was amazing.
Yeah.
And as she grew, I think it has just added on to it, and it's like
Absolutely.
more and more wonderful with every passing day.
Correct.
And honestly, it has reached a point where you feel, if this is the joy that you
Yeah.
share with the child through
Yeah.
books and
Yeah.
words and
Yeah.
text,
Yeah.
then I think more and more parents should know about it, or should
Absolutely.
do it, or
Right.
at least in some way you do your small bit to encourage that, and so that
Absolutely.
they discover that bonding. It's like
Right.
it's been amazing. And
So,
another thing I would like to add here is, along with Tisya reading, I
right.
was a total non-reader who used to pick up
Is it? Wow.
one or two books, especially
Wow.
after the school days and college
Right.
days.
Right.
1 second.
Sure.
Yeah, I think I lost it. Yeah.
Okay.
So she has actually kindled that love for reading back,
Wow.
and
Wow.
which I'm like eternally grateful. So it's not just about Tisya's reading journey, it has also
It's
been my own, personal
beautiful.
reading journey.
Right. And I
Yeah,
think that's the beauty of children. They inspire us in a way that
absolutely.
we can't even imagine. So she's, I think,
Absolutely.
given birth to the storyteller within you, you know?
True, true, absolutely.
And I,
It is sometimes it's a what do you say? It's not right entirely to say we teach children, because I think they teach us more than what we teach them.
absolutely, absolutely. Like this whole journey that I'm going, I'm enjoying is so inspired by what I'm doing with Ritvik, and I think they are our biggest inspiration to follow our passion and calling.
True, true, absolutely.
Okay, so let's start. So we have about 4 questions, and we would love to, get your beautiful answers on them. So the first one, if you can, Balambika, start with like really basic, like what do you mean by read alouds, and how, can we start them in a very simple manner back home?
Okay. So before we like formally start off,
Sure,
I would like to
sure.
say my entire experience is all that I'm sharing. So I'm not a
Right.
professional, or it is something which I have discovered from my
Yeah,
own reading experience with
yeah,
Tisya. So
yeah.
there may be times when I'm a bit repetitive
Right,
because I have not done a formal presentation or something, but it's more
right.
like you learning through
Absolutely.
experience.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So like you said, the first one, read alouds, is like, sometimes I feel what we see around us, what
Mm,
we hear about reading, so much
mm.
emphasis on reading to your
Mm,
children,
yeah,
sometimes gets a bit intimidating or
it does.
overwhelming for
Yeah,
the parent.
yeah, yeah.
So I think first and foremost, I would say that don't look at it as something which is like an
A
acquisition of a
task. Yeah,
skill
Yeah.
Yeah, something which he has to know or the child has to know,
Correct.
otherwise you're missing something.
Yeah.
No, it
Yeah.
is just like, how would you look at a healthy eating or
Mm.
playing or a fun
Yeah.
activity?
Yeah.
It is just that, we are
Correct.
trying to build a connection of books, the wonderful world there is
Mm.
of stories,
Right. Right.
with the child. It's like we're
Correct.
giving the child a companion,
Mm.
something for them to cushion their emotions, to
Right.
help them,
Yeah.
discover what they want to find out. So let's
Absolutely.
not be pressurized by, the expectations of vocabulary and
Mm.
language, communication skills.
Right.
So all that comes later. So to
Correct.
start off with, it's like the connection of your voice. When we start, the first reading that you do to the baby is more about your voice, your intonation,
Absolutely. Yeah.
the words and the
Yeah.
bonding with the
Yeah.
child. That's it. So I think we
Absolutely.
should keep it simplistic
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
rather than burdening with too many things
Absolutely.
that we want to accomplish.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel it
And
starts with the baby in the womb. I feel, it really starts
absolutely,
from that.
absolutely,
Yeah. Because
absolutely. So there is no there is sorry you
no, no,
complete,
sure, go
Amrita. I'm
ahead.
sorry to
No,
interrupt.
because even in the bigger group, we get this question asked a lot, like, when is the right time to start reading aloud to your little ones? So you can
Yeah,
even
so
answer that.
yeah, so it's like the earliest, like you
Right,
rightly said, right from the time they are in the womb. So
right.
it's said that they start responding to the sound in the womb
Mm, mm,
around 23 to 25 weeks, which is about
correct.
6 months. Okay.
Right, right.
And sound is going to be the first connection that they have with the external world.
True.
Otherwise all that they are familiar is the internal world, your
Correct.
uterus.
Right,
Okay, so this is going to be the first connection, and
right.
they love to hear. What can be more comforting than the mother's voice, right? And that is the first
Absolutely. Yeah.
experience of something coming from outside.
Right.
And that is and I would say one is like the the effect that your voice and your
Right.
sound has on the baby. And
Correct.
two is it's also, motherhood is a big step for
Yeah.
every woman. Okay, whether you're prepared, it was planned, not
Right.
planned, whatever,
Right.
it is
Right.
a big change in your life. And this kind of
Absolutely.
also prepares you to, the time that you're going to give to the baby,
Yeah.
the connection that you're going to make with the baby,
Right.
and the talking, it's like the start of the endless conversations that
Mm,
you're going to have with your
true.
child. So
Mm,
reading at that the earliest is right when they are in the womb. Now,
right.
having said that, I
Mm,
know there will be a lot of mothers who have not done it. We have not read
correct.
probably
Yeah.
when they were in the
Yeah.
womb.
Yeah.
So there is nothing like you've missed out on something. Any
Correct.
time is the
Yeah.
right time to start. So if your
Absolutely.
child is 8 years old and you've not read to the child, there is nothing to feel upset
Absolutely.
about.
Right.
Just start today. I mean,
Right.
the earlier you start, the what do you say, the longer your journey. So it's not
Yeah.
like you're missing out something,
True. True.
and you don't have
Like,
to
there's
feel
no
guilty
right or
about it.
wrong time to,
Absolutely,
read.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And that is where I feel, it's like the intonation with which you talk. So they
Yeah.
say when the baby is in the womb, it doesn't
Right.
even matter what books you're reading. It doesn't have to be
Absolutely.
baby books, or
Right.
it doesn't have to be picture books or
Right.
whatever. It
Yeah.
is just you can read whatever you're reading, your chick lit novel or your
Correct.
fiction, non-fiction.
Yeah.
Just read it out loud.
True.
Feel the baby, feel your tummy when the baby's out. If you see most of the early picture books, like for the
Hmm.
babies, they're usually a mix of the touch or the
Right.
repeat rhythm, like
Yes.
counting kisses, for
Yes.
example. It's
Yes.
like you giving 10 kisses to the toes or
Right.
5 kisses on the
I
belly.
love
So it's
that book.
always a
Yeah.
mix of, yeah, it's a mix of the words and your own
Correct.
touch, or it's a
Mm,
song where you have the
mm,
words coming again and
yeah.
again.
Yeah.
And so that's it. I think any time is the right time. If there
Right.
is no late, early, or anything, start
Right.
today is
Right.
what I can say.
Right. And like, you've given your example, like, you were not a reader when you started this journey. So do you have any tips, like, if there is a mother who, genuinely doesn't like to read, and, what can she do, when she herself has not picked up a book?
Okay. See, we can have two situations. One is
Right.
a mother who is not into reading, and who
Yeah.
doesn't care about it, who I'm
Yeah.
sure will not be watching the video, because it doesn't make a difference, and that
Right.
is fine.
Right.
It's fine.
Yes,
There are people who
absolutely.
don't read and who are still
Absolutely.
fine, doing
Yeah.
absolutely great.
Yeah.
Now there'll be others set, who want their children to
Correct.
read,
Read. Yeah.
and but they know somewhere that they themselves are not big readers, or
Right.
probably they
Right.
haven't read anything. Now
Right.
here I would say that make an attempt, okay, because
Right.
the best way, we want to give them the joy of reading. And
Correct.
how do we expect to do that if we don't discover that joy? It is
Correct.
important that we make an attempt. So you
Yeah.
don't have to you don't have to read big fictions or
Right.
biographies. You can
Correct.
start with the child's book itself.
Absolutely.
You
That's a
just keep
lovely
yourself
tip. Yeah.
involved,
Yeah.
isn't it? So
Yeah.
it's not like you get a membership in your library and you keep an
Right.
agenda that I'll read
Yeah.
one book a month, or
Right.
it's not required. Just
Right.
involve yourself, keep
Mm.
yourself fully present when you're reading to your baby, show interest
Correct.
in that children's
Mm.
literature.
Right.
And
Right.
actually, that is how it worked for me.
Yeah.
It has been an organic development. I never
Right.
planned that, okay, now that I'm reading to this, yeah, I have to be a role model, so I
Right.
also have to read. It didn't happen.
Right.
Just when I started realizing that
Mm.
there is so much in books,
Right.
then it kind of gets your curiosity up, like,
Correct.
okay, let's
Right.
maybe pick up a book and try
Right.
reading one for
Right.
yourself. And
Right.
it works, and it
Right.
works beautifully well.
Mm.
So don't have to plan everything like that. Just
Right.
pick up the book for the
Right.
child and start
Right.
reading, and
Mm.
be present. So put your
Right.
phone away,
Yeah.
and text message, WhatsApp and all away, and
Right.
be there
Right.
100%.
Yeah. That's so
um
important.
and yeah.
So I think it forms such a beautiful connection and bond with your child. It's more than just reading out a book. That bond that is happening, that connection that's happening, as you said, which is so
Yes,
mindful, which is so beautiful.
absolutely. It's like a mirror, even
Mm,
babies, when I say,
mm,
when you read to the babies, when you kiss them or tickle
mm.
them, their response, it's like
Right.
it shows you what your baby is. It
Correct.
helps you understand a little more about your baby. And
Correct.
especially when they start talking, the
Mm,
2-year-olds, and
right.
the questions they ask. When you read
Right.
a story, their interpretation of it,
Right.
their
Right.
doubts, their what things amuses them in the book.
Mm,
It's like someone is giving you a peek into their head. You're knowing, like, what is it that it's going on inside your child's head. And it's a
correct.
beautiful bonding time. I read an article,
Mm-hmm.
where you have there was this dad who is in the
Okay.
jail. So he's a
Right.
criminal, so he's in the
Right.
jail in the
Mm-hmm.
US for some crime.
Right.
And they had this program in the US jail where you can connect with your family, you can do
Right.
different activities. And
Mm,
he chose to make videos of reading videos to his son. And he's
wow.
actually said that, more than just, trying to give knowledge or whatever to your child, it was very calming.
Yeah.
And it was a
Therapeutic.
time that
Yeah.
gave him a lot of uh, peace to him
Right.
personally, and
Yeah.
which helped him battle that, the difficult time that he was going through. And it is true for all of us. We come back
Absolutely.
home from a stressful day, you pick
Yeah.
up a book, you snuggle with your baby in the bed, you read it. It
Yeah.
is going to do a world of good for the baby and
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
It's going to make you calmer, and
Absolutely.
what do you
Yeah.
say, more at
It's
peace
yeah.
and
Yeah.
at ease with
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. Like very therapeutic.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, as we've spoken, and you've mentioned about this, that it has to be fun. It cannot be from a place of learning or pressurizing child into something. It has to be from a place of having fun and from a place of bonding. So you want to just
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. I think the first or the biggest no for getting your child to read is forcing them to read. Okay, then
Mm,
it becomes like their textbooks or their
yeah.
exams, and
Yeah.
we don't want to do that. There is this
Correct.
beautiful book by Jonalyn Miller. I had
Mm-hmm.
posted the review in the group, which
Right.
is called The Book Whisperer. So she
Mm,
talks about two types of reading. Okay, one
right.
is the aesthetic reading and
Correct.
efferent reading.
Okay.
So I don't want to get very technical, but
Yeah.
basically it means efferent reading is where you read to acquire knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
skill, learning and
Sure.
building to the,
Yeah.
the set of whatever information that you have.
Sure.
And aesthetic reading is when you read for the pleasure of reading, the
Right.
joy of reading.
Right.
And I would say, for there are, supporters for both the approaches. There
Correct.
is nothing
Yeah.
entirely wrong or right about it. And we all know books add to our knowledge and learning. But
Correct.
for children, I feel the aesthetic approach is what works. So
Right.
just, reading, why would they read a book? They're not
Yeah.
going to read because they want to learn about empathy or kindness or friendships or to get
Right.
over their fears. They will read because it's pure fun. It's
Right.
like, going to the park. They
Right.
want to go down the slide of, 20 times, 25 times. They want to do
Yeah.
it again.
Yeah.
It is the same slide there, same height and everything, but they want to go there every day
Right.
because they enjoy that
Right.
experience.
Yeah.
That is exactly what they seek from reading, and that should
Absolutely.
be what we are trying to give them.
Right.
Pick up books which are fun for the children to read.
Right. Right.
And I would say it's more like, something like in chemistry, you have the reaction. So you have a product which goes
Right.
through a chemical reaction, and you have an end product which is the objective. Okay,
Right.
that
Right.
end product has to be the joy or
Joy.
pleasure in reading.
Absolutely.
All the other things are byproducts. So it's like
Correct.
you do learn in the process. Your
Right.
vocabulary is going to
Right.
improve. You're going
Right.
to pick up new words, meanings. Your
Mm.
communication will get clearer.
Right.
But those are all byproducts. If you
Byproducts.
start
Right.
reading for that, if you start
Mm.
reading so that, my child should have a better vocabulary than my neighbor's child, it doesn't work. It's going
Right.
to put off the kid,
Right.
and they will not read it. And once, you will push them much farther away from
Right.
books by doing that, and we don't want to
Absolutely.
do that.
Right. And I
and
feel
and
even,
we can,
yeah, sure, go ahead, please.
no, tell me, Amit.
No, I'm saying that especially during the early years, even if it means that they just want to flip through the pages and, just see the pictures, I feel that's completely all right. Where they're just exploring the
Absolutely.
books. Because I remember,
Absolutely.
baby Ritvik, he used to love doing that. Just, see the pictures in the book and, just say a few words here
Yeah.
and there.
Yeah. And I think you brought up a very beautiful point,
Mm.
because, we think that when we sit for the reading, we have
Right.
to complete the book. We have
Correct.
to read
Yeah.
all the text,
Yeah.
finish the story,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so that they
Yeah.
get the message. But
Correct.
kids don't care about it.
Right.
If they find a page attractive, they'll spend more time on it. And
Mm.
even now, today, my daughter tells me, Mama, can I take a peek on the next page, even before I'm
Right.
done with the reading? So they
Correct.
want to do it, and let them do
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
It's fine if the story is not complete. If they get up and walk away
Mm.
midway through the book, it's okay.
Completely
They'll
fine.
you can
Yeah.
read again. It
Yeah.
is an ongoing process. It's not a
Absolutely.
one-time thing.
Right.
And that is where the whole thing of repeat reading amongst children comes,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they like to go back to the
Yeah.
same book. So if
Yes.
they read it halfway today, they'll read the full book tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
they'll explore new things in the
Right.
same book with
Right.
every reading.
Mm.
And that is, like you rightly said, we have to let them do it. And
Yeah.
we have to let them flip through the pages, stare
Right.
at the pictures,
Yeah.
ask us questions.
Right.
And it's not like a one-way communication. We talk to
Correct.
them, we read to them,
Mm.
they sit and listen and take all the messages
Right.
that you're trying to give. It
Mm.
doesn't work like that.
Right.
So we have to let them explore in their own way. And
Right.
we are just a medium, because
Right.
they can't read on their own at this stage. So you are
Mm.
there to, like, kind of, guide them through. That's it.
Right. We're
But
just
it's about them.
facilitating. Yeah.
Absolutely, it is
Yeah.
about them. It's entirely
Right.
about them, what they like and
Mm.
what they want to see.
How beautiful. And now, Balambika, can we talk about, like, if you can give us some tips, for moms, how to make, this as an everyday thing back home, how to make it more fun. So if you have some tips and ideas for the moms out there.
Yeah, I have a few things which has worked for me,
Sure.
and I have
Sure.
seen, what has worked for other your friends, your child
Right.
friends,
Right.
moms, or whatever.
Right.
So one is, like you said, don't force them, which is the, like, you have to keep it in your head all the time. Don't
Right.
force them to read the books.
Right.
So now, if not force them, then how do you facilitate the process? You can do a lot of little things. One
Right.
can be, like I said, leave books around the house. Don't worry
Right.
too much about they getting crinkled or
Mm.
soiled. It's fine. What is the use of a book if it is, new and, one second, yeah, if
Okay.
it is new and untouched and unread? It
Right.
doesn't serve the purpose. So it's
Absolutely. Yeah.
okay. But
Mm.
having said that, I understand that we don't want to let the children completely tear it off and all that. So we get age appropriate, like leave the board books or fabric
Yeah,
books,
true.
one or two here and there. And basically,
Mm.
what I mean is, it has to be part of your household. It is not something which is tucked away in the shelf. You just take it
Mm.
out during the reading time. They have to
Right,
see it around. And you can have a nice reading corner. When you say
right,
reading corner, you don't have to put up expensive stuff or
right.
decorative things there. You can
Correct.
just have a nice cushion, a
Right.
blankie,
Mm.
and it is more for creating that memory as the
Absolutely.
child grows up.
Yeah.
It is something, it's a routine, and routines
Correct.
always have that that nostalgia. When
Yeah.
you grow up,
Yeah.
we say that every, like, I remember every month, and my dad used to get, when he gets his salary, he used to get pastries, and that is
Wow.
something, that's a
Yeah.
very wonderful memory I carry. So it's
Absolutely.
something like that, if the
Right.
child can feel that, okay, me and my mom used to read books in that corner sometimes.
Right.
We used to
Yeah.
have this nice colorful corner or
Right.
something. So,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to be, when we say reading nook, people
Mm.
misunderstand that every
Yeah.
time you read, you go to that place and read. It's
Exactly.
not that.
Yeah.
It is like you read everywhere, but
Right.
once in a while you can sit there. That is like your
Right.
your bonding place to
Right.
create that memory. You can
Absolutely.
have go to the park if you have open
Right.
areas,
Yeah.
carry a book, sit
Absolutely.
at the
Yeah.
park,
Yeah.
talk
Yeah.
with your child, read a book. Terraces, if you have the
Mm.
luxury of having a terrace, you could do
Correct.
that.
Yeah.
Airports I've seen are a wonderful
Mm.
place. Like,
Yeah.
usually all airports have good bookstores, so
Yeah.
that waiting time, you can go to a bookstore, flip through the books, pick up
Mm.
some books. You don't even have to buy, they're not going to force
Exactly.
you to
Yeah.
buy. You just flip through the pages.
Right.
But those are all things where you're, the child is interacting with the book, or you're saying that
Correct.
this is as much part of our life, like, playing and your toys and colors and
Right.
everything. So
Right.
it doesn't have to be a structured fixed time, and
Right.
routines help. So a
Yes.
bedtime routine, or
Mm.
after the bath,
Right.
anytime you can
Yeah.
choose. You can choose the time that
Right.
will work best for you and
Right.
your child,
Mm.
and accordingly carry it forward.
Right.
And I've also seen a lot of parents do, reading when they're in the car journey, when they're
Correct.
traveling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are all things, like you carry
Yes.
3 books in your bag
Correct.
and go ahead. Yes, just 1 minute.
No
Yes,
problem.
Tisya.
Hi.
You can say hi.
Hi. Hi, Tisha. I love
Say
your
hello.
cap. Oh, that is so cute.
So go take it in the fridge. Okay? She
How
wants a
cute.
juice.
So
Yeah.
cute.
So that's what it is. You can add
Right.
on, Amrita, because I know that
Yes.
you also read a lot of books with
Yes,
Ritvik.
absolutely. Yeah.
And
And now that Ritvik is 6.5, what we do is, I will read my book and he will sit and, flip through pages, try to read little words, then ask me to, read the next page. So
absolutely.
that's a beautiful bond that we have formed over the years of, and again, like as you said, we didn't make it as a chore or a task that you have to do it at this time and you have to do it every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just organically taking it and having fun along. Also, what worked beautifully for us, I feel, is involving other family members too in this journey. So he loves
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, he loves reading out with my husband. My mother, who's a Maharashtrian, she loves to tell stories, just tell stories, not from a book, but she
Wow.
makes up her own
Yeah.
stories that he absolutely loves. So, giving,
True, true.
yeah,
Take it. Just 1 minute.
no
Excuse me.
problem. And she can totally sit for the video if she wants to sit with you.
She has her mouth stuffed with chocolate.
How cute. No, but we love the videos that you do with her for the bigger
Yeah.
group. It's an absolute joy to, watch you and watch her, because the delight that you see on the child's face and that curiosity is just, so full of joy and pure pleasure.
True. True. And and that is a big driving factor, Amrita.
Yeah,
It's like when you see that in your child, when you're able to give
absolutely.
that,
Yeah,
and I would say that is the single biggest motivation for getting your child to read, because to
absolutely.
see that, them enjoying that
Yeah,
story and
yeah,
their imagination is a
absolutely.
then you realize that, okay, it's a beautiful gift that you can give to your child, and
Absolutely. Yeah,
if you're able to do that as a parent, then it gives you immense satisfaction that
true.
you have given them a companion for
Yeah,
life. When you're
yeah,
stressed out, you come back. If you have a book, you're
absolutely.
never going to be lonely again
Correct.
through the life.
Yeah.
So it's more about that. I would repeat it again. It's more about that joy and
Mm,
companionship
mm,
than about vocabulary or words,
absolutely.
language,
Yeah.
and knowledge.
Yeah.
So
As you
it's
said, these
that
are all
you give.
byproducts, which are anyways
Absolutely.
going to organically happen.
Well,
Yeah.
true, true.
Yeah. 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 Okay. So any more points you want to, add to like how can we make reading more fun? Like, maybe how,
We missed out one key thing, big thing.
sure.
Take them to bookstores, take them to
Yeah.
libraries.
Right.
Okay, libraries are amazing. The
Mm,
whole feeling there, because libraries are all about books. You have books and
correct.
books around,
Yeah.
and people who are there are people who love reading. So it is
Correct.
going to have a trickle down effect on your child.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
if you have libraries, and I'm not sure in India how many towns have good libraries, but if
Yeah.
you're in a metro,
Mm,
most of the metropolitans now have a lot of libraries. Especially
yeah.
there are entrepreneurs who are coming up with their own little
Absolutely.
libraries.
Yeah.
So do that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, take them to a bookstore
Mm,
whenever possible. Let them flip through the pages,
yeah.
and that is going to have a big effect on them. I
Right.
remember, when until this year was 3 years old, I was in
Mm,
Palakkad, which is a small town in Kerala, which has no
right.
library,
Right. My
no good
husband
bookshop.
is like, they are,
Yeah, yeah. I
yeah.
remember. I remember we
Yeah.
having a little chat.
Yes.
So it's a small town. It's a
Right.
beautiful town,
It's
but it doesn't
beautiful.
have bookstores.
Yes.
So whenever I used to go visit my sister in Bangalore, one thing we used to invariably do is go to that Sapna book house, which is like a
Right.
huge 3-floor bookshop. And
So
we used to
beautiful.
spend like 1.5 hours browsing through the books.
Right.
Eventually, you may end up buying like 3 or 4 or 5. That's fine. But
Fine.
it's
Yeah.
about that connection, the
Yeah.
interactions. What do you say? That points you're creating,
Right.
where you're in, what do you say, in the company of books. So the
Right.
more the touch points you can make, the more it is going to work for you.
Correct.
And like you said, now you like, when you're reading, Ritvik is next to you, he's
Yeah.
reading his
Yeah.
own book and you're reading your, that is another key factor. Be
Yeah.
seen reading. Okay,
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
to love books as much if you
Yeah.
want your child to love it. And if
Mm,
you're not a reader, make an attempt.
yeah.
It's, you can't say that, oh, I cannot do
Yeah.
that now at this age, but I expect my child to do that.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't
Absolutely.
work.
Yeah. So
And the good news is they're saying, even we grown-ups are capable of generating new
absolutely.
neurons.
Absolutely. And
So
we can tap onto our growth mindset. Why not?
absolutely, why
Yeah.
not? New habits can still be made,
Absolutely. Yeah.
but that attempt has to be there, and it is
Very true.
important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow.
So
Yeah. Amazing. So now
so
you've
that is.
right. And you've also mentioned, about buying books. And I know we have like two set of moms, one set who loves buying books. And we see so many Facebook groups selling pre-loved books and, new books and all of that. And then there is another set of moms who are very mindful of the amount of toys or books that they buy for children. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Like how much is too much or how little is too little? And how can we kind of create that balance?
Man, absolutely. That is one question I get repeatedly in my inbox,
Right.
because I keep posting about all the books.
Correct.
And I get this question like, how do you zero down to that
Yeah.
books? How do you
Yeah.
know the right books and the number
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
all that?
Yeah.
Let me tell you one thing. I put a lot of Facebook posts about and the ratings, which is
Hmm.
usually 4 on 5, 5 on
Sure.
5. Now, that doesn't mean that, we like all the books that we buy. So
Okay.
there are, it's a disclaimer. I mean we have bought a lot of books which this year hasn't enjoyed much,
Right. Right.
and I don't post about them because I don't find it necessary. If there is a book
Mm.
which we haven't enjoyed much,
Mm.
I wouldn't like to recommend it to others as a
Sure.
basis my personal experience.
Sure.
Now, If we feel that having 50 books or 100 books is the way my child can become a reader, I would say we cannot be farther from truth than that.
Mm,
That is not true at all. You don't
mm,
need 50 books to make your child a reader. You just
correct.
need to find the joy in that 5 books that you have, or six
Absolutely.
books. And believe me, especially until they are like, past 3 years old,
Mm,
kids love repeat reading. So even
absolutely.
if you have like 20, 25 books or 50
Yeah.
books, there are
Mm,
going to be like 3 or 4 books which they want to go back
true.
again and
True.
again and again,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
And it has a correlation,
Yeah.
because in the womb, when the babies are in the womb, everything is predictable. It's a
Correct.
familiar
Mm,
environment, and
right.
kids like to cling to that familiarity factor.
Mm,
That,
true.
so there are some words which have a connect with them. How do we sing the same song to put them to bed? Or probably,
Right.
they enjoy certain songs more than the
Mm,
others,
correct.
and certain way position more than the others. So it's like
Right.
that
Mm,
familiarity brings a comfort, and
yeah.
we shouldn't take that away from them. We don't have to
Absolutely.
overwhelm them with too many books. It's not
Mm,
needed at all. So you
right.
can have 4 or 5 books,
Yeah.
which is fine.
Mm,
And second thing is, I would say it is the information, the clutter. There is
mm,
so much of information
absolutely.
online,
Mm,
and it kind of confuses you. It overwhelms the parent as
true.
to pick up
Yeah.
the right books. So here
Absolutely.
I would say, too much information is chaotic. So
Yeah.
don't go by that.
True.
Go by the inside to out approach. So first,
Mm,
what has worked for me, I would say, like I when I started off looking for books for Tisya when she was a
mm,
baby,
mm,
I used to search the best baby books, and it will
right.
give you a list of like 50 books or
Yeah.
30 books.
Yeah.
You go to 4 5 websites, and
Mm,
there are some names which are there in every list.
yeah. They
Okay,
repeat.
then you
Correct. Yeah.
repeat one, like which
Yeah.
are like the Good Night Moon or
Yeah.
Counting Kisses and stuff
Right.
like that.
Right.
And then I used to do this, checking the reviews on
Mm,
the US Amazon site, which is
Amazon. Okay.
very, very, very helpful,
Right.
because it has people giving very specific feedback.
Right.
Like they
Right.
say the words are very complex, or
Mm,
the pictures are not very.
mm,
Yes, this. Just give me 5 minutes. You play something else. I'll come back. Okay. So you have specific feedback, which is
right.
very helpful, and they're
Right.
they're, they're very clear cut, and it is coming
Right.
from a varied group of parents.
Mm,
Okay, so you can go through the reviews,
sure.
and come down to, like, bring your list to 3 or 4 books
Right.
and try that and see
Mm,
how your child is responding. And
mm,
I would say it is like there is no magic mantra to come to the right
right.
book.
Right.
And if we are expecting a 10 by 10 match, like we buy 5 books, the kid is going
Right.
to like all the 5 books. No, it doesn't work. So it is a
Correct.
trial and error. How
Right.
did we figure out how to feed that healthy beans or
Mm,
broccoli to the kid? It was a trial and error. No, we tried
right.
stuffing it in the roti, or
Right.
shallow frying it. So
Yeah.
basically, you have to be willing to take that step, and you
Correct.
are not going to get a list which is going to work for your child
Absolutely.
100%. And
Absolutely.
we should know to edit the information. A
Right.
lot of moms, what they do is they see a lot of book posts and they
Right.
make a list.
Right.
Okay, and then they're going to try and superimpose it on the child. It
Mm,
doesn't work. So
mm,
don't make your list basis what others are posting. Go the
right.
other way.
Right.
You think about what your child likes. Is it
Mm,
dinosaurs, is it
right.
colors,
Mm,
and do a search, books about
right.
colors or about
Right. Dinosaurs. Yeah.
read all the reviews, including mine. But it doesn't mean you have to make a list basis. There are
Correct.
so many children's books, and we
Right.
cannot have all of them. We have a
Absolutely.
limited
Yeah.
budget. They
Yeah.
are expensive,
Yeah.
isn't it? So you go from inside out, I would say. So see
Right.
what your child wants,
Right.
make a list of it, and then
Right.
look for reviews rather than reading the reviews and making the list, which
Right.
is very chaotic, or a wrong
Absolutely.
approach of doing it.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
after that, it is trial and error. Try.
Correct.
If it doesn't work, try for something
Right.
else. And I think somewhere we undermine our own ability to know our child.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
like, what does he like? What kind of does the child like? Fun things, or a bit
Mm,
artistic
Yeah.
picture
Yeah.
colors and bright
Illustrations.
things,
Yeah. Yeah.
go for it and rely
Correct.
on your snap judgment. You don't
Yeah.
have to always analyze everything.
Mm,
So you look at it, you know whether it's going
correct.
to have that click with your child, and
Absolutely.
it's fine. I think you should, that
Absolutely
is the,
wonderful.
and
Yes.
number doesn't matter. You don't have to have 50 books, and
Totally.
it is not a deciding factor. It's not going to
Absolutely.
guarantee that your child is going to be a reader.
Absolutely. And for us, like, we used to have many books, and like as Ritvik outgrew a lot of them, and we donated few, sold few, and now we have like a very limited collection for him, and he
True.
kind of seems to be enjoying that limited collection more.
More.
And
True, true.
so I feel less is always more for children, and it's a beautiful
Absolutely.
way for them to enjoy and not feel very overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. Very
Yeah,
true. No, because if
yeah,
you're going to sit with a stack of books and these are the books that you have to read, they're
yeah,
going to be absolutely
absolutely.
overwhelmed. And
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be like that.
yeah,
And as they grow, we'll get more and more cues on, what they like.
absolutely.
Like you
Yeah,
said about Ritvik, when they
yeah,
grow, that okay, these are the things which he
yeah,
likes. And they start communicating, right? They start telling
absolutely.
you like, I
Yeah,
don't want this, or this is
mm,
what I want to pick
yeah,
up, and go by that, go by their
right,
choices,
right,
respect their choices,
right.
rather than
Very
trying
true.
to impose your own choices on them.
Right.
Respect the, even if it is a silly fun book,
Yeah,
which you feel probably just too kiddish for the child, but
correct.
if the child wants to pick up, let that be the book
Yeah,
that you buy instead of something which
absolutely.
you have on your list, isn't
True.
it?
And I feel this holds true even for a 10-year-old or 11-year-old. If they want to read, like, board books or really like silly books, I think we should just let
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. No, that is one thing in that book Whisperer, which Donalyn Miller, who's
right.
a teacher,
Yeah,
keeps repeating,
right.
validate their choices. Let them
Absolutely.
be the ones who are deciding. We cannot do
Absolutely.
it for babies, I get it. And
Right.
they need
Yeah,
some hand holding. But
sure.
I'm saying we need to respect their choices. So if there is some
Absolutely.
book which they're refusing to read,
Yeah,
don't
sure.
try to, get it into their head because
Absolutely.
you paid probably 600
Yeah.
rupees for it.
Like
Because
Ritvik does not like Dr. Seuss, and I'm like, okay, we're not going to read that then.
yeah, see,
Yeah,
and you Google about it. It's like it's one of the most
absolutely.
enjoyed,
And he's
isn't it? But
always refused to let me open the book, and I'm like, okay.
yeah,
This
you
is
have to
as
wait for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I promise I'm going to
Yeah,
let you go. She's been a darling. Give her my love. She is a real sweetheart. Hi, Tasya.
say hi to
Okay,
yeah. You have to say
so
hi. Yeah.
okay, Palambika, we're going to let you go. Very quickly, can you tell our audience where can they find more about you and connect with you? And of course, we'll give all your links in the e-guide. But if you can quickly, tell the moms out there.
I'll just there is one thing which I wanted to
Sure.
cover. I'll just bring that up. Okay, yeah, okay, this is one point which I wanted to make, because I post a lot of things about reading.
Sure.
I feel reading has to be looked at as something like the connection we have with music,
Mm,
or what do you say, sports. Okay,
right.
as parents, we need to understand that every child is going to be at a different level. Okay, if
Correct.
we are expecting every child to be an avid reader, a
Mm,
bookish person, it
mm,
is not going to happen. You will be
true.
disappointed, and you're going to disappoint your child.
Mm,
Okay, we all listen to music, right? But we are
right.
not like critiques of music, all of us.
Correct. Yeah.
We don't know the notes, we don't know the
The
technicalities of it,
technicalities.
but
Yeah.
there are people who like it, who go to
Mm,
that depth, who
correct.
go to that much of detail. So it's
Yeah.
it's similar,
Yeah.
with books. So
Yeah.
there may be people who are absolutely into books, who are going to grow up to have like read 200 books or 100 books a year.
Yeah.
Going to be others who may read a book when they want to, maybe
Right.
2 books, maybe 5 books a year. So let's accept that and
Right.
appreciate that. What we are just trying to do here is showing them that you have this. Okay, there is a
Right.
joy in reading, which
Yeah.
is there for you
Yeah.
anytime that you want to reach out.
How
And
beautiful.
that's it. And we cannot expect them to all read and be bookish. It's completely it is not required. We are
Correct.
all different and we
Yeah.
connect differently to
Right.
things.
Mm.
And so that is one thing which I really want to
Sure.
mention.
Sure.
It's good that I didn't
Sure.
forget it, because otherwise I would have, oops,
No
there's stopped with
problem.
my phone
No
here.
problem. But
One
I
second.
love this,
Yeah,
and this is what our community stands for. Like, we are authentic, we are raw, and we are real. And like Tisya, all over you is like how motherhood is. And Ritvik is right now with
absolutely,
my
absolutely.
mom, but had he been here, he would have been doing absolutely the same thing that Tisya is doing right now to you. So,
And this is after the warning. I told her I'm going to be on a video.
how
So,
cute.
you stay away. But anyway,
Yeah, but that's
so
how we
yeah,
celebrate the
I
messiness and everything that,
absolutely,
comprises parenting.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I have a Facebook page which is
Sure.
called T and I, T for
Okay.
Tisya and
Okay.
me.
Right.
So where you'll have all the book
Sure.
posts,
Sure.
which I also post in this group.
Group.
But if you
Yes.
want to look at all of them together, that is where it will be.
Sure.
And I also post book reading videos, which
Right.
is called Tisya's Storyland, which is
Okay.
a
YouTube channel.
YouTube
Okay.
channel. Yeah.
Right.
So, but it's not like I don't upload too many videos now.
Right.
So it depends on the
Right.
time
Of course.
I get. But when I make a story reading video, book
Right.
reading video, I do
Right.
post it there. So those are two things,
Amazing.
two places where you can
Right.
find the stuff
Sure.
that I want to
Sure.
say.
And we'll link it up with the e-guide which comes with this video, so that moms can
Sure.
look up more, and also check few recommendations by you, for age-wise books. So thank you so much, Balambika, for taking time out and coming here and doing this video. And we're going to let you go. And we love Tisya so much. And bye
Thank you
for
so
now.
much, Amrita. Thank
And
you. Thank you.
my pleasure. Enjoy your beautiful time with her, and we'll
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
soon.
And I would really, thanks for giving this opportunity to reach out to so many moms here, which is wonderful. The more the moms get to reading and getting
Yeah,
that bond of books with the child, that will be like the biggest thing, I would say. Even if like there are
absolutely.
few handful of them who find it useful, it serves a purpose. So thank you for giving that
Thank you
platform.
so much. Pleasure is all mine, Balambika. Thank you.
So, bye
Bye.
bye, good day.
Bye.